All right. So, welcome to Assets and Algorithms, the show where we explore the intersection of real estate and technology. Today, I have Tom Gabriel here from Wispr. Welcome to the show, Tom. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited to be chatting with you today.
Absolutely. I'm excited also. You guys have a really unique platform and offering to the prop tech space. And I love to just dive right in and ask what inspired you to start Wispr, and how does your role today tie into the broader mission of reshaping the real estate agent experience?
Sure. So I'm actually a part of a real estate team. My wife's the agent, and I've been working on the tech back end in advertising technology and software for a number of years. In the lead gen spaces a lot as well for financial tech, insurance tech, and early in my career spent time and Experian with Free Credit Report and their ancillary businesses there. But what ultimately was the genesis for Whisper was understanding how my wife really started to kind of kick off her business, and it really started with a simple analog version of what we do with Whisper. And what that means is when she was trying to get business, there was a lot of tactics that said call FISBOs, call expireds, and let's see if we can get some business going forward. And this was a few years back, actually a number of years back now. And what she started to realize is she put on the whiteboard in the office, hey, I know these neighborhoods. So if you had a buyer looking for these neighborhoods, call me. And immediately that started having agents reach out to her with buyers who were looking to break into a particular neighborhood that she knew well. And it created a halo effect in the office. And now agents were talking about deals even beyond just the one meeting that they might have a month about buyers that were looking for something. And that started to create a lot more efficiency for that team. And we thought, hey, this is really the way agents do business, is that they should be collaborating with each other and speaking, not only within the brokerage, but in a larger audience together of agents across it, right? Agents shuffle brokerages a little bit around. There's not a whole lot of brand loyalty, although when they find a tribe that they like, they tend to stick around. And so we said, let's help those agents out. So we started to generate Whisper as let's focus on the relationships between agents. We know agents are really valuable in the process. And we also know that the best agents really have great, deep relationships with their clients, right? Those that focus on transaction become less professional, becomes less respected in the industry and with consumers, but we wanted to have them really uplift. So we believe that Whisper was the perfect blend of how do we help agents focus on relationships and build a toolkit that does that, but exposes those agents to opportunities from within their spheres of influence.
Awesome. I think that's definitely paramount, right? Like relationships are definitely a huge driver of the business and will continue to be.
Mhm.
Um, I'd love to hear, as the a founder of someone building something so relationship centric, what does a typical day look like for you balancing some of those tech aspects as well as the partnerships and building that trusted skill?
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that our business is built on relationships. So there's a lot of relationship selling. So I'm
Right.
actually reaching out and meeting agents and trying to network with agents and getting to know that, hey, we really support you. Let me show you this tool. And it's really what the best agents are doing. We kind of classify two agents in legendary who are always working their relationships with their other agents and their clients. And then those who are aspiring to be that, right? So everybody else sort of falls in the other bucket, whether they're a new agent or even a well-performing agent, but they're grinding through sort of the modern traditional process of before they get to referral only, if you will. And so we have spent a lot of time meeting agents, getting to know them, going to events around town, getting them to know that we're genuine and sincere in our efforts and belief that not only are realtors valuable, but the relationships matter between each other and with their
Right.
clients. So continue to do that. How do we build technology to reinforce those behaviors? Like that's the critical element. I know other technology companies have missions and mottos. Ours is simply focused on how do we help you build better relationships with people, your other agents and your clients. If you do that and you're successful at building that, you will have the business of whatever size you want. So all of our tools are rerouted there, and we try to drive more opportunities for those agents from those relationships.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love the mission and the vision. Especially with everything that happened with that NAR settlement, right? I'd love to hear your thoughts on what major shifts you're seeing, and how do you think they open the door for a platform like Whisper?
So yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, when we started with Whisper, it was before we were really intimately aware of what was going on with the lawsuit. There's always lawsuits and stuff happening in real estate. So we
Hmm.
built our platform in mind with compliance to try to work with partners. The MLSs are partners, the associations are partnerships as well. And so, but we also recognize that our principal stakeholders are consumers, and the second stakeholder are the agents. They're the frontline people doing the bulk of the work. The brokerages are helpful. They offer technology solutions to agents. And then the associations are supposed to provide, a sense of belonging and purpose across the country of a giant family, if you will. Our job was to say, what is it that agents really need to help them build their business? And so when there's this argument being made that somehow agents, and I think that the lawsuit, in my opinion, that was brought was somewhat frivolous in that as a consumer, you always had the right to negotiate whatever compensation. And most agents are going to express very clearly what that compensation agreement was. I know the case was brought in another state. In California, it's very clear. There were a lot of things that could be done. And I don't necessarily buy into the argument that agents were somehow steering people to properties or trying to get them to offer more to improve their commission. Let's just do a basic math question. If you were selling a home in California for $1 million, and you're getting a 6% total commission, let's say a 3-3 split, although I don't think anyone's really getting, or not very many people are getting 6. It's probably closer to 5, but let's just do 6. So 3% on $1 million is 30 grand. 3% on a million, let's say 50, $1 million, $1 million or $1.1 million is just an extra $3,000. That's not going to change that's not changing the equation for the agents. I don't really believe that agents were steering people away from deals because of that difference in that commission. I think what they're focused on is helping their clients get into the right home. And so this was brought forward. Everyone is upset. They're looking at these associations and some form of elements of whatever anti-competitive elements to it, if that's what they're really focusing on. And I think that what we could do with Wispr is say, no, actually what we need to do is provide consumers with choice, provide consumers with option, provide consumers who are going to choose to use an agent, which is 90% of the time. Consumers want to work with an agent because it's a long, complicated process and there's a lot of paperwork. How do we help them get through this entire process in a better way that provides them the opportunity to match to the right home, that makes the seller happy, makes the buyer happy, and everybody's happy with the decision? And so that's what we're trying to do here is build out that marketplace. So when the settlement came down, I think it was unfortunate for agents because now they're trying to navigate in a new world. Change is always happening in real estate. We're here to provide a tool that says to agents, we're here, we support you, we want you to do what's best for you and your clients, and how can we do that? And I think that's the opportunity because we all recognize that the bigger players, the Zillows, the bigger brokerages like Compass, they have their own particular business models that they're going after. And they've made a stake in the ground and they're going to kind of continue to go down that path. But nobody's really looking specifically for the individual consumer, the individual representative or agent that's working with them. It's just this argument over from between the big animals in the jungle, if you will, fighting it out and trying to figure this out versus what are consumers really facing? What are consumers really dealing with? And what are agents really doing here, trying to support and provide good value?
Absolutely. I love that answer. Very thorough. How are you guys using technology at Wispr to enable more relationship-driven real estate, especially as you build a peer-to-peer alternative to portals like Zillow, as you mentioned?
Yeah. So I think what we're really trying to establish here is the opportunity says agents have relationships and they're always working on those and they invest their time and effort and money into those relationships. We're not only with other agents, but with their clients and prospects. And if they do a good job, then they'll understand what the needs and wants of those consumers are beyond just maybe what they're telling them. They may say like, hey, you're about to have a new baby or you're about to have a child going to a school and you should be thinking about the school districts. And so there's not only those elements, which some of that information is public and consumers can search it. Maybe they don't have the time, or maybe there's some nuance to those opportunities. So we said, as an agent, you have a bunch of relationships you've invested in. Another agent has done the same. The problem is in the current situation where everything is done after a homeowner signals to the market by putting their property in the MLS and in Zillow, that at that moment has put the seller basically saying, okay, I'm willing to sell the house. Great. Everything is public. Everything is available. Everything is out there. The seller now has to be show ready and go through all the processes of being a public listing in a post. I'm agreed. I signed an agreement. I wish you to take me to market. That's fine. But I'm trying to help agents say before they even get to that point, there may be opportunities that are actionable. Agents they're working on their trust with their other agents. And so what we're saying is
Hmm.
we can bring your sphere of influence and another agent's of sphere of influence and have them come together and find buyers who exist with this particular agent, because we know
Hmm.
there are agents out there who have buyers who are like, I can't find anything on the MLS or Zillow, or I really need this, have very specific needs. And there's another
Hmm.
agent who knows neighborhoods. They've invested in their neighbors and their friends, and they've gone to barbecues and the HOA meetings and everything else. And they know when people are, let's say, actionable to consider selling. And so how do we help encourage those people to meet, discuss, and then move through the process? And that's what we're trying to do here. So it's very critical for agents to be able to take their sphere of influence, know that that information in that database is protected, and then have it get matched with ours. And that's where the technology arm comes in. Our technology is looking at those two spheres and saying everything is protected, everything is managed from you and your situation, and then we overlap them, and then we unlock those opportunities from there. And they're all pre-market. There's no listing agreement in place, but you can feel confident that we're going to find you opportunities to then reach out to the agent on the other side. Now, ideally, it's someone you're already connected with and and it's just, hey, we're having that conversation. But like LinkedIn, maybe you want to expand your network, or maybe you're a newer agent and you don't have a lot of deep agent relationships. Here's an opportunity for you to come forward. And so that's the whole idea. Relationships beget more relationships layered on top of each other are going to kick off these opportunities. We call them whispers. For really pre-market deals, we call those rumors. So those are the two classifications we have for inventory. They're not signed listing agreements, so we don't have to worry about any violations. They're just, I have a relationship with my neighbor, and I know their kids just went off to college. They're likely down to downsize, and they've been telling me they've been thinking about moving to this beach town wherever. Well, okay, I don't know that beach town, but I know agents who know that beach town. I should be talking to
Hmm.
them about opportunities for that person there. Because if we found the right home for them, maybe we can get them to think about becoming an active client. So it's more about that conversion time and spinning that person up than automation, right? We don't believe in just automating the platform and saying, hey, just send off automated emails and send off thank you notes and send off anniversary notes. Like that to me is not compelling. What's
Hmm.
compelling is I've developed a relationship, I have familiarity. That familiarity will breed trust. And therefore, when I can come to them with an opportunity saying, hey, my colleague has a home that might be for sale. Would you like to talk to me about it? That's a really easy conversation to have, right? Natural, it's easy, it helps that agent out. And that's what we're really trying to do is foster those conversations, foster those discussion points. And now you are improving the brand of yourself as an agent because you're bringing something unique to the table. It's from your network. You're creating an opportunity for that client. Just like a professional financial advisor says, hey, I have an opportunity for Facebook. They're ready to go public. Using an example from, let's say, 15 years ago, if your investment banker came to you in 2008 and said, hey, I have an opportunity for you to invest in Facebook, would you want to know about it? You're going to listen. Maybe you've heard of Facebook or not. So the idea is that professional advisors, that's what real estate agents are, need an opportunity to be able to discuss opportunities with their clients, both on the buy side and the sell side, as early as possible. And that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Again, another great answer. I think being able to foster those relationships and help agents not only grow their network, but also build those relationships and their sphere of influence to be able to impact their customers at the end of the day is a great mission. And I think Whisper is uniquely positioned to do that at a high level. You guys are already live in San Diego and Florida. I want to ask, what does the next 6 to 12 months look like for Whisper in terms of expansion and ecosystem building?
Great question. So I happen to live in San Diego, so I'm meeting in person with a lot of folks in Southern California. I'm kind of North County, so I bleed into Orange County a little bit. And then South Florida was where we had one of our other agents who was advising us on the product early is where we launched. But in reality, we're actually available in all 50 states. We can service all 50 states. We just need to make sure you're licensed and your license is valid and active as a realtor or real estate agent. I should say more specifically, or brokerage license. You need to have those in order to get access to the Wispr network. This is just for agents because we're sharing your spheres with other agents in a blinded way, but we're connecting you as agents. We don't want to make this visible for consumers. Our visibility going forward is to launch in more markets with dedicated boots on the ground. So we're going to have more people out locally in the Pacific Northwest, probably the Northeast. We're definitely going to continue to expand from, let's say, Santa Barbara County all the way to the border. Like I just need more coverage here. So short term is we're bringing in some resources to help us continue to spread the message out there. podcasts like this to create more brand awareness and brand demand, if you will, and then moving people through. We're going to continue to just spread the word. The platform is launched and live and works incredibly well. We have a lot of premium teams in the area here that are using the platform and making relationships and finding opportunities. And that's what we want to continue to foster for folks. So it's more the same at the blocking and tackling level, but the new markets are going to continue to expand. And so when agents come to us from other marketplaces, we're happy to help service them. And we just say, give me a call and let me let you know, we can get you on the platforms. That's where we're going to look from a growth standpoint. We have a target for the end of the year of 10,000 agents is where we're gunning for within 12 months. So I should say not the end of the calendar year, but 12 months from today. We have several hundred on the platform now as we've continued to grow from our launch really at the beginning of this calendar year. So just over 4 months, we've got tremendous momentum as we continue to scale. And really, that's it. We do have some interesting other products in development that we're working on and probably can't talk too much about since they're still in the ideation phase and refinement. And I want to get out in front of my skis and say something that we end up pivoting on. Effectively, how do we help you? Our singular focus is what features should we add? What elements should we add to help you as the agent continue to add value for your clients? And in a personable, direct communication sort of way. How do you help service your clients better? Not how do you, just spend less time talking to them, right? We want to actually have you invest your time. You'll have plenty of deals that are available to you to go ahead and get deals done. And we want to make sure you're able to successfully do that, building your brand even better.
Awesome. I look forward to watching Wispr grow and provide a ton of value to a ton of agents. Let me ask you really quickly if you could wave a wand and instantly solve one challenge, whether it's on the agent side, the tech side, or the market side, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think about it for just a moment. I think the one wand wave I'd like to do is I would love the perception of a realtor to be changed. I think that is the thing that is being hurt the most is that I hear time and time and time again from agents saying, I'm talking to a prospect or I'm speaking to a client and I'll get this discussion point of, hey, I found the property. Why am I paying you? And I think that consumers, it's tough because short answer is I want consumers to recognize the value of their agent, intrinsically, truly get it. I have family members who don't, so we have debates about it constantly. But at the end of the day, I believe that real estate agents do what an investment banker does, and no one complains about investment bankers. They all think people like Goldman Sachs are, wonderful people. They have movies about investment bankers, whereas real estate agents are related to Phil Dunphy from Modern Family. And that I think is part of the cultural problem. So the wand is improve their perception by the consumer. And I think we do that by helping them recognize and helping consumers recognize the value that they bring from finding opportunities of pre-market deals and being able to demonstrate to them, hey, once you're working with me, the process from contract to close is great. That part is a little bit more difficult to demonstrate until you've been through the process. But I can definitely help you on the first side of it, which is if I found you an opportunity that was pre-market that hasn't been yet listed, and this person would be open to talking about selling, me as an agent, I have a unique value prop that I've given you that not every agent can do. And so that starts to demonstrate my level of professionalism and allows me to continue to up my ante and find that value. And so you will have that lifting of, I think, the perception of what a good agent can bring. And people will recognize it and they should seek it and desire it, which is what we want to do.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me today, Tom. Thank you for providing that insight, a ton of great answers. And I'd like to take this time to offer you just, let people know where they can find you, where they can reach out to you if they'd like to try Wispr, if they'd like to continue the conversation, where can they reach you?
Sure. So anybody can come to Wispr Network and it's WISPR, kind of a typical Silicon Valley type of a spelling, even though we're not in the Valley. So it's WISPRnetwork.com. And that's all one word. But you can reach me at tom@wisprnetwork.com. And then Derek, happy to give that to you if you want to post the link at the bottom of this podcast so people can have access to it. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. Happy to answer questions and help people move forward. Again, we really want to help agents do this. And we're excited to be in this unique moment in real estate history where everything is being shaken up.
Absolutely. I agree. I love the moment and I love what Wispr is doing. I look forward to you guys really growing and providing that value. Thank you for joining me again, Tom.
No problem. Thank you so much, Derek.
Take care.
Okay.